Cameron Clapp lived across the railroad tracks in Arroyo Grande in California. He'd lived there all his life. One night, he was crossing the tracks late. He never saw the train coming.
The police came and knocked on our door about, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, knock on the door. The one that you don't ever want to hear.
The train had completely severed 3 limbs.
They pretty much prepared us that he was probably going to die.
Even if he made it, his life was ruined. No legs, 1 arm. It doesn't get much worse than that.
The expert told us that he wouldn't walk, that he would spend most of his life in a wheelchair.
Cameron remembers coming to in the hospital.
I do remember waking up and, you know, just looking down and not seeing my feet there and my arm gone.
3 days before, he'd been a healthy, active California kid. Like most teenagers, he loved sports. He didn't mind taking risks. The freight train that ran him down put an end to all that. He was alive, but at only 15, his life was in tatters. And the doctor offered him little hope.
He didn't tell me to my face, but he did tell my parents that I probably wouldn't be walking, you know.
But he didn't know Cameron or his family. But the family wouldn't give up. They searched everywhere. In Oklahoma City, they found a man with over 20 years' experience in prosthetics. They'd found Kevin Carroll.
Kevin Carroll is just a ball of fire. He just sees the possibility in all people.
That encounter was about to change Cameron's life.
Cameron, you know, not only did he not only want to walk, he wanted to run, he wanted to jump, he wanted to swim, he wanted to play golf, he wanted to do everything that he did before he lost his legs.
Words were easy. The reality was different.
We had to come up with a socket that would allow him to get up and move, because the longer he's down, the less likelihood is that he's going to get up again.
So what was going to be a long process began. How to get Cameron back on his feet again.
We quickly said, you know, it's sort of like the little baby. You know, the little baby doesn't stand up and walk one day. We have to creep before we can walk.
Imagine having to learn to walk all over again. That's what Cameron faced.
I had to rebuild these muscles to become adequate for this new form of walking.
Kevin had come up with a prosthetic leg design to suit Cameron's terrible injuries.
So what we have done, we've come up with this ComfortFlex technology that allows the muscles, like this socket system right here, that allows the muscles to fire. So when the person fires up their muscle, the socket will expand with them.
And that's an amazing breakthrough. Inch by inch, month by month, Cameron learned to walk.
To watch Cameron take his first steps without any help was just amazing.
But just walking again would have been enough for most people. Cameron wasn't like most people. Cameron Clapp's late-night walk across the railroad tracks ended in disaster.
I do remember waking up and, you know, just looking down and not seeing my feet there and my arm gone.
Both legs and 1 arm were severed by the train he never saw. But Cameron was determined to walk again. Now, he wants more.
Cameron continually puts challenges in front of me, like on the screen, you know.
This time he wanted
This
to
one.
learn to walk downstairs
Put
without
that up
holding on.
much there, because I think I scratched my head and said, you know, golly, this hasn't been done before, but I'm thinking to myself, this is Cameron. If you take a few steps.
It was
with-
something that no one had ever done before with prosthetic legs. The solution was to get Cameron to use a computerized knee. The microprocessors make the tiny adjustments that a human knee normally does. They gave Cameron the balance he needed to conquer the stairs.
We're like, well, nobody has ever done that before. And here's Cameron today. He can walk down step over step without holding on to anything. Just amazing to see what he can do.
He's determined to just try just about everything.
Having gone the whole 9 yards, Cameron spotted another challenge. He'd always loved swimming. Could he ever do it again? At first, it seemed impossible.
When I looked at the pool for my first time, you know, after my accident, I was petrified because I only had one arm, and I was like, how am I gonna swim?
But Cameron doesn't understand. Impossible.
They gave me the conditioning to let my body be prepared for prosthesis. So the swimming was a very vital thing for my rehabilitation.
Now, how about swimming legs? Could someone build those for him? An ingenious design replaced the computerized knees with an ankle joint to keep the prosthetic feet pointed forward. These are connected directly to the upper leg sockets to reduce drag. Cameron took to these stubby swimming legs like a duck to water. Then he started competitive swimming, and his relay team even defeated their able-bodied opponents.
So he just always striving for more. I don't think that'll ever stop in his life.
But there was always one thing that remained close to his heart. He wanted to run again. He'd need new legs, and he had the right man for the job. His running legs have ultra-lightweight hydraulic knees and carbon fiber feet, but they don't have a heel, which is great for running, but not so good for walking. And 2 months later, he was living his dream.
On your mark, set.
The attachments for the running legs were just such a great gift because I just find so much joy in it, you know? And I'm still improving with my running.
We're seeing something that nobody else is doing. I mean, he's the only triple amputee in the world that runs competitively.
Cameron's not afraid to push the envelope. Designers like Kevin respond with new inventions. The result is that other people with missing limbs will certainly benefit.
Just this past week, a young man arrived into our clinic who had lost both of his legs above the knee. He had given up all hope. Cameron walks into the room, both of his legs gone above the knee, missing his arm, and this little kid, his eyes just lit up. So this is real. This guy is actually in the room with me. This is real. I can actually do this.
Cameron's story is truly incredible. A medical marvel. He suffered unbelievable injuries. His life was ruined. Now he walks, he swims, he runs, he competes, and he inspires.
He has shown clinicians such as me that anything is possible. And for me as a clinician, not to stand in the way of that person's dreams and aspirations.
And incredibly, he's never looked back.
Even though it was something that was bad that happened, I've made a lot of good things out of it, and I continue to open the boundaries, you know, even more. And I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know that there's gonna be a good future ahead of me.